All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm so glad to have this moment to be with you guys. My name is Ken Koshio. Originally, I'm from Nagoya, Japan, and I moved to this country back 1998. I used to live in Los Angeles, California, about 8 years, and I moved to Phoenix, Arizona since 2004. So I'm so honored to be this session with you, and last two sessions with another group of people talk about the my cultural background. So first of all, I don't need to ask you guys your background too much, but if some you're kind of concerning about what I said, or even any questions, I hope we can a little bit discuss about, or I can take after this my set. So I try to maintain everything. As much as possible, but about 15 minutes ish, maybe I can, talk about this. So, first of all, my first language is in Japanese. So, in Japanese, Shinto. Shinto mean is this is the letter of the you know Shinto, like this. You can see on the left hand side of the top, Shin first letter and To. This is in Chinese characters, but the first letter of the Shin is meaning of the God, and then also the To means way or path. So it means way of the God. So a little bit, I'll talk about our cultural background in Japanese. So as long as I know, basically, we Japanese are so influenced by also the Buddhism a lot. And Japanese culture, when we see the things, Buddhism or even Shintoism, it's more like, we uh, kind of influenced by those teaching as a also moral teaching. Meaning, is like, for example, you know, like myself, when I was a kid, I was belong to a kind of a Shinto, kind of new kind of age Shinto group. It's called Tenrikyo, Tenrikyo, Tenrikyo. So the founder was, got some spiritual experiences back 1980, I'm sorry, 1838. So then that group of people still, missionary here, there, even in the U.S. too. The headquarters is in Los Angeles, California too. So, anyways, that is one of the group of Shintoism, but we have also like a national Shintoism. So it means that like back then, unfortunately, World War II, we got into fight with U.S. and other European countries at that time. So that Shintoism was utilized to put together the nation of Japan to kind of again, I mean, to fight with the other side of power. So, because if you know, maybe, or as the Emperor Hirohito, he was a metaphor of the, God. So something, those kind of, background in between Americans and Japanese, I really wanted to clarify that whole history could create two better relationship for our future world, because also belong to my kind of experience when I was a kid. I'm not from Hiroshima, but my experience when I was second grade, I read the, it's called the Barefoot Gen. It's a one kind of a cartoon book, but the story of the Hiroshima bombing. And you see behind my back, you see colorful kind of things. That is it's called the thousand origami cranes. So if you know that story, so that's also our prayers kind of a metaphor of the peace. And also, one of the picture, I don't know how much you can see, but the girl's face, that's a real face of the Sadako Sasaki. She's the story of this famous story in the U.S. and Europe. It's called the Sadako and a Thousand Cranes. So when she was second grade, she got the, I'm sorry, not she, when she was 2 years old, she got the atomic bomb in Hiroshima. and the whole family was survived. But also, then she was survived too. But unfortunately, when she was 11, she got the leukemia, and then she passed away when she was 12 years old. So that whole story, it came to really famous, story of the Hiroshima, and that she was folding the thousand cranes because we believed if you could make a thousand cranes, you could get your wishes come true. So it means every day she was folding little origami cranes to make you know, her wish is gonna be come true. But unfortunately, before she finished that thousand cranes, she passed away when she was 12 years old. So belong to this also the story. Her believing is not like I don't think she was Christian, but she was also believing some spiritual meaning of the God or something, power to give her to change her, destiny. So for us, when we say Shinto, the God way or God's way or way of God, maybe a little bit different kind of image of the maybe like a creator of God. So more like a spirit because we say tons of gods. So it means maybe doesn't make sense for the Christianity believing of the God because this is a creator. So we can see maybe that God mean is more like a spirits. So it means if Native Americans believing, they say water spirits, tree spirits, any existence of the things surrounding us had the spirits. So same thing with the human beings. So when we say Buddhism also, but especially Japanese way of the Buddhism, and then also even Shintoism, we being believing that spirits are so important, kind of a keyword to connect like as a god. So we breathe, maybe we believe in also creator too. But when we say God, it's not just the God, the God. Maybe that's a spirits too. So then when I, see like Native Americans behave, especially I've been, working with a lot of Hopi people. So they really do ceremonies with the kachina dolls, if you know. The kachinas are also, kind of their metaphor of the spirits from the San Francisco peaks. So when I got here, I started to, relating to, their kind of a spiritual ceremonies. It really reminds me Japanese kind of a way of the, spiritual or kind of a religious way to behave to the things surround all of us. So one story from my experience with the Hopi elder, they, one of the elders told me. So long time ago, Hopi people came from Japan, got on a straw boat, and got on a stream of the Pacific Ocean, and they reached to South America. And a long time ago, means maybe 5,000 or even 10,000, I don't know. So then sometimes they lived as a Mayans, sometimes maybe Aztecs, something like that time in South America, and it came up to their reservation location today. So means some ancestry, coming from Asian area with some kind of a meaning of the spirits, means way of the same way to think the things. So, and one of the story scientifically now it's proved because 5,000 to 10,000 years ago in Japan, before our today's civilization, like a Western kind of a calendar, Gregory calendar, 2,000 years, something like this, with the sun cycle. But we have also moon cycles. And then so Japanese old kind of a way of the civilization, we say Jomon period civilization. Jomon, Jomon, I think. So that people were a little bit different way of the living style than today because they really live together as a family, and then they're sharing everything instead of the compete each other, something like that. So the Jomon periods, the ceramics at the time, still we can get in Japan from the old kind of layer of the ground. But if you dig it in South America's some spots, they can found same ceramics, and those are kind of proof of those story from the elder of Hopi. And interesting thing is, scientifically, Japanese closest DNA in the whole world. Do you know where it is? In Peru, in the Machu Picchu area. So somehow those kind of informations, and then also modern today's scientific proof gives me to think about when we say Shintoism is quite relating to more like animism, more like everything we believe has the spirits. So when we are back 7th and 8th century, we send a lot of students to China, and we got a lot of studying informations from China. I think Buddhism was coming into Japan around that time very much. So it means it's not directly coming from India, more like through the Chinese translations of chanting and came into Japan. So, but at the same time, those Japanese understanding of the Buddhism, after that, we really put into our cultural way to maintain our life with the teaching of the Buddhism. But also those kind of animism is also being with us for a long time. And at some point also through the Silk Road, and any ways to reach that island of Japan, because Japan is a really east end of the big Atlantic. So meaning is from even Old Testament of the Jewish teaching, and maybe the early time of the Christianity, even maybe some kind of Muslims. I don't know. A lot of those kind of things melt into our country. So what I feel when we say Shintoism is not just a style of the way to be, think and behave, more like a good way to say multicultural kind of blending way to see the, natural nature kind of a spiritual behave with respect. So I do every morning to climb the Paiso Peak for the sunrise, and I bang the drum for my prayer. That is basically belong to the Shintoism too, because we see the first sunrise is like a newborn life. But when you see sun is not coming up, we are basically surrounding the, sun. So it means if you see the whole system of the solar systems is like inside of our cells, means micro world and the macro world kind of balance, and things how to moving and then affecting each other in a balance. So I believe this is my personal opinion, but everything is like a fractal. Everything is kind of the same way. So what kind of a dimension, what kind of a your um, size of the body, or your kind of perspective see the things, but the whole balance is in that same kind of a in and yang, or whole spiritual beings kind of existence to respect each other to existing to make the things today. So when I see the my way of the Shintoism, I really been learning different religions too, Christianity and also Buddhism, and another, some kind of a Native Americans way too. But from that, my perspectives of the Shintoism is basically, like I said, animism, more like every single existence, include of even cells in a quark, has that their energy vibration. If you could see that as also spirit, we can existence with those whole size of the different things. But I can see myself, if I could be the size of the cloak, maybe I can see more like a small things. If I'm the size of the, big, like a Milky Way, maybe I can see the whole universe different size. So again, I think, the Shintoism for me is based on Japanese way of the see the nature to live with the whole things with the respect. And, hopefully that one also we say harmony. So it means, you know, positive and negative, but still in the harmony because it's an imbalance. So then in Japanese we say wa, wa. So it's also meaning of the harmony. So this is my Japanese traditional, some kind of outfit. We say wa fuku, means Japanese outfit. And if you like sushi, we say wa shoku. And if you like Japanese things, wa mono. Means wa means we express Japaneseness or Japanese. So it means those things, yeah, Japanese clothes, Japanese food, Japanese things. When we express the things, always put the wa something for the, language wise to, yeah, confirm this is original, Japanese. So maybe our spirits, the Shintoism, maybe express to live in with a harmony, spiritual harmony together. So that's my understanding to, you know, uh, believing and express as a Shinto. And the sun is one of the strongest metaphor because without sun, we are not existing here. So something like that. Anyways, if you have any questions, please start. Thank you so much.
I have a question, and my question is, do you have schools that are dedicated to teaching the Shinto religion
Yeah,
for your young students?
we do, but in general, public school don't teach Shintoism much. It's more like a good way to say more like a scientific, kind of a everyday, studying.
Yeah,
So
that's why I wanted to know if you all had some that you have, that are your schools, that you,
maybe
you know,
yeah, but that's true because some believing systems, we coming from the little age. So now fortunately, my mom and my, parents really took me to believe some like a something bigger than me, or so. But today, good way, bad way, so materialistic, and then the whole thing seems like we can handle everything by us. But I don't believe so. That doesn't make us to be humble enough. That's my kind of understanding for
okay.
that. Is that my answer okay? If you have any question, my name is Ken Koshio. So kenkoshio.com, my website. Take the any connection with the, by internet, email. So please, you know, contact me anytime. I'm more than happy to communicate, please, because I need to learn your background too. Yes, Kathy, say something.
I was sending you clapping. I don't know how to do it. I'm new on Zoom. Just thank you. I just so appreciate going around the world to learn all kinds of things. And I did not realize there was a connection to South America and the Hopi, indigenous people.
That
That just is fascinating to
right,
me. I love that because again, it shows how small our world is. And again, we're all part of the human race.
right,
That's it.
yeah. Me too.
It's so
When I heard
awesome.
that
So thank you.
story from the elder, I was so
Yes.
shocked because
Yeah.
what he said was it's his Hopi's myth, means being told. It's not written. Kind of things for
No,
their.
it's oral tradition, right? Oral stories,
Mhm.
right? And but I just love that. And then you backed it up with the science, like the DNA shows it. And I'm like, I'm going to do more research on that. I mean, you've just sparked. I read books about all types of faiths and religions because I find it I'm a seeker first, and then I just find it fascinating,
Absolutely.
all the different types of beliefs that people can have, and they're all possible. That's what's so beautiful.
Absolutely.
Everything's possible.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yes.
knows if they're right or wrong. It's all possible. And I just love, seeing us, like you also pointed out, I wrote that down, because I love that. Looking at a micro and then a macro, view of the world. And that just really sparked for me. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to turn off the recording.